how do you fix a city with a history like Duncanville?
I've never seen anyone like her. She completely and totally takes the cake.
Can she captivate?
She can do it. That we know of an individual who may fit the qualifications of being an event planner and may be very successful with the position. So Ms. Benavides was very receptive to what we said and invited the lady to fill out an application and go through the interview process.
And it's just a very sad situation.
Completely and totally takes the cake.
Can she captivate?
She can do it. That we know of an individual who may fit the qualifications of being an event planner and may be very successful with the position. So Ms. Benavides was very receptive to what we said and invited the lady to fill out an application and go through the interview process, which she did. And she went through various levels of the interview process and was considered, I think, perhaps one of the finalists, but didn't get the job. And that was okay. This is what happens. So it wasn't my wife. My wife is retired and hasn't gone back to work since she retired.
So, to what I was told. So, she just threw me off there. Like there's nothing to do with your wife in it at all. And is that her MO? Like just throw something out there and, I walked away. And I was thinking, how would I verify this? Or, I had no idea what was going on down here. Mr. Harvey, I am now so suspicious that I don't even know what to think.
Well, I understand. I give Aretha credit for this. She's very good on her feet. She presents herself very well in a number of situations. And that's one of the things that attracted me to her as she was going through the interview process for the city of Duncanville. City manager. She always had a ready answer, a logical answer, an answer that seemingly made sense. So I acknowledge that she has that ability and that gift.
What about her just casual warmth as a genuine person? Can she just turn that on?
Very much so.
Very much so.
Very much so. I can tell you that as we were going through the interview process in the city of Duncanville, she did one of the most fantastic interviews that I've seen a person do. And I myself have the ability to, conduct myself and present myself in certain situations. But I've never seen anyone like her. She completely and totally takes the cake.
Can she captivate?
She can do it.
She played the race card, did she not?
She tried to,
That was newspaper reporting, so,
Oh yeah, she tried to, but just like I said, the group that was in the forefront of severing her relationship, 2 black council members, 1 Latino, 1 white.
and that's why she told me that story. I have to tell you, I would be in there with her, some of her employees, which would be communication director, and they're young, up and coming, and she's mentoring them,
Yes.
and I'm watching them lose their jobs. And it's just a very sad situation, but the city is just imploding. So, any advice?
Well, when the city of Duncanville decided to sever its relationship with her, it was me, another black council member,
Councilman Kuntz?
Kuntz,
Yes.
Contreras, a Latino council member, and Don McBurnett, who was white.
Sure. Doug Finch, the city manager for the city of Duncanville.
My question is, how do you fix a city with a history like Duncanville? How did you even decide to take the job, and then what was like a key thing to fixing?
Sure. So I think for me, one of the big reasons why I even accepted the job was because the city council of the city of Duncanville was so excited and energized about moving the city forward.
And so I think you need individuals from each segment of the community to join together and say, we can do better than this.
And they had coalesced around what they felt like at the time were 4 strategic initiatives that they really wanted to focus on: fiscal transparency and accountability, economic development, our infrastructure, our public works, and then moving the city forward, long-term planning. And what really impressed me about that was that the city council was driving that decisions, right? They said, this is what we need to move the city forward. And we're looking for somebody that aligns with those attributes. And I felt like that was a perfect match for myself. And so that was the reason why I accepted the position. And then those are really the things that we buckled down to work on collectively as a team.
So what would you advise our city council and mayor to do going forward, since you have already, you came in behind Ms. Benavides? They are involved with her, and it could be even messier. Do you have any advice for them, like, to fix the situation?
Well, I think it's really important for the city manager and the council to be on the same page in terms of where the community is going, and for the community to share those comments with their elected representatives. You know, strategic planning is a great way to do that, and that's a basic tool that I always recommend for any municipality to actually look at that. We just recently adopted a 15-year capital improvement plan, and people will say to me, 15 years is too long. I agree. It is difficult to plan out for 15 years. But if you don't have at least a direction on where it is that you want to go, how do you know how to get there? What are the things, right? So you take that 15-year plan and then you break it up into smaller segments. What are the short-term items? What are the medium terms? What are the longer-term items? What are the things that we would like to do, but we can't do them right now for financial reasons or those types of reasons, and we decide we're going to put those off for a little bit. That's what I mean by that planning, that strategic planning, getting everybody on the same page together and then advancing the ball forward. What are the primary objectives of that council? What is it that the constituents are telling the council members, and then what are the action items that we can move forward and collectively do together. That's some of what we did here in Duncanville. I certainly don't want to speak about Martinsville. I don't follow what's going on in Martinsville, and we're very focused on building the City of Champions here in Duncanville. And so those are some of the tools that we used, and really kind of getting around the room together. What are the objectives? What are the things that everybody would like to do? And then where do we go from here?
Would you have any advice for him suing? You saw the video. He's suing the city manager. And then how are we going to put that back together? So do you have any advice for him?
No.
Okay, here we go. We are live. You know, what's that? I was watching a live video of media talking about bombing Iran. And I just loved it. And the reason I loved it, because these folk doing the live video, you might think I'm rambling, but still, it's just like we're constantly having to deal with being on live television. And we watch podcasters, and they, do all kinds of final stuff. And we basically are doing this stuff on the fly. What I saw was individuals on different networks trying to make out like they knew what the bomb was. And then one of the ladies' phone rung. And, she leans over to get her phone, and this rickety chair does a whole bunch of squeaking. And I just thought, if all y'all could just see what live TV is like. Well, you can't. And that's doing me no good to rant and rave about it. But we are live tonight, and we have a very, very good audience because everybody's waiting on footage having to do with our problems in Martinsville, Virginia. And so just let me begin with a little intro, and then we'll get into laying out what we're doing.
Sure. Doug Finch, the city manager for the city of Duncanville.
My question is, how do you fix a city with a history like Duncanville?
I've never seen anyone like her. She completely and totally takes the cake.
Can she captivate?
She can do it, Dad.
Okay, that's what you're in for tonight. That is the new city manager. This is not. The gentleman who started out, his name is Douglas Finch. He's the new city manager in Duncanville, Texas. Why is Duncanville, Texas important? Well, and those of you who are regular watchers of What Does the Bible Say, you're just going to have to bear with me, but I guarantee you're going to get a point tonight. And I mean, when I say a point, it's going to be a stab. And you might say you're walking on my feet. No, I'm trying to stab you right in the head or the heart, depending on which one of them leads you, both of them. I'm trying to get a point across to you, but all of our folk are wondering, why didn't we see this before? Why is it that we're now seeing this? Well, seeing what? You're seeing city council and city manager of the city of Duncanville, Texas, Metroplex of Dallas, and the former city manager is our city manager. And you're hearing this kind of stuff. You're going to hear more about her from them. But the question is, why didn't you already know it? And as we go along, we're going to feed you the information that will basically start hopefully making you ask more questions about what to do now and where to point the finger, because man, there is a bunch of finger pointing. So we appreciate Star News for having us on broadcast tonight and also being on Facebook Live. And if you know a friend, tell them about the broadcast, because we're going to be talking to you very, very straight from the heart, and we're going to be talking about what really is wrong and what can easily fix the Church of Christ and the massive failure that's going on. Let me take a drink. Okay. So tonight, I think we have your attention, and I want you to basically see, this is a program that I have to fool around with actually, and I just, unless you want to buy the program for me so that I don't have to do that, pay for it, that's what I mean, a suite, then you'll just have to put up with it. This is the city council in the days of Ms. Aretha Farrell Benavides. These are the different nationalities, ethnic background, race, whatever you want to call it, the culture. And this is our spokesman. His name is Patrick Harvey. Patrick Harvey presently is the president of the Economic Development Committee in Duncanville. And these individuals, as he depicted them a moment ago, or he will depict them, that they are multi-ethnic, ethnicity, however you want to state that. We just have so many proper things that we have to say. They're all different, as you can see. And the majority of the people in Duncanville, Texas, are actually Latino. So, as we go along there, you can see that what we're seeing in the newspaper, lots and lots of newspaper articles about the fact that they just out of the blue fired Ms. Benavides. She had barely been there 2 years, if she had been there 2 years, and it was a 4-3 vote, and the mayor voted against firing her, and Mr. Harvey voted to get rid of her. Mr. Kuntz voted to get rid of her. The person here in the middle, I forget his name, voted against. These voted to get rid of her, and two others, one white and one Latino. You be the judge of who's who and what's what. I'm just saying, you'll hear it laid out a lot better as we go along. So, we have Ms. Benavides here with us, and everybody who's watching us now that is in Martinsville. I'm very sure you're cued into Charles's station. Star News, if you're not, you need to tell somebody that this is going on. It is going on live, and this interview just took place last week. I drove 1,100 miles down to Texas, landed there. My car landed there in the afternoon on a Thursday, on a Friday, and on Friday, I was able to meet with the city manager and made the appointment on Thursday afternoon. On Friday morning, he said 10:30. I was early, so was he. So he brought me in at 10, and we got to have a good long talk. And then, as events just transpire in the world of trying to do something that you never know how it's going to end up, you just try. This gentleman ends up calling me after I had driven all the way across Dallas-Fort Worth rush hour traffic and said, "Hey, I heard you talk to the city manager." He gave me a call. And he says that you would like to talk to me. If you'll drive back, I'll meet you tomorrow at 11. Yeah, I'll drive back through rush hour traffic one more time, which I did. And he and I met on Saturday, Friday morning, Saturday morning. And so that's how I have the story. Douglas Finch is his name, upstate New York. And Patrick Harvey, he's been in several municipalities. He's 4-term city councilman. And he has a lot of experience, finance director, and this gentleman has a lot of experience too. I really like Douglas Finch as well. I'll say something about him more if we get a chance. These are our friends, is what I'm telling you. Now, I won't give the phone number to just any of the crazies around here, but people that really do care about what went on and how they were able to go forward, then these are our friends. He said he doesn't keep up with Martinsville, but you have seen that he did an interview with me to talk about how they fixed this mess that they had going on with Ms. Benavides. So you'll hear a little bit more about it as we go. But I have to tell you something. For us, this was never about politics. Persons who are members of the church, members of the body of Christ, the church you read about in the New Testament, not some denomination, but the true church that is detailed, laid out, so that you can read and study how it works and what people did. This one in here, this is not about politics. This is your blueprint for how to win the world, how to get people to listen to you, how to get people to be interested. It was never, ever, this was never about politics. Why am I saying all that? Because people are complaining to us. Why are y'all off into politics? Y'all don't know the first thing about getting the gospel out. Why are you be asking us why we're doing it the way that we're doing it? And here we are having people all the way in Dallas talking about us this weekend and ready to help us out here in Martinsville? And where are you, people in Texas? So here's the thing. This is a AI-generated picture depiction of Paul with this would be Festus. Now, here's the thing. What am I saying when I said it never was about politics? Listen, y'all, I want to get the gospel out. How many people do you think knew about what was going on here? The entire nation, before it was all said and done, knew about the trials that were taking place at the highest level. And that is what it's about. It's not politics. It is a trial that is going on amongst the rulers of the occupied Jewish nation, and a trial that was going on with the rulers listening, and the hierarchy, the highest police, the highest rulers, the governors, whatever you want to call them. Paul called them, the high priest, the ruler, when he was slapped in the face for saying he had done all his things in good conscience. This supposed to be Paul. Paul is in front of them. So, when you think about us and what we're doing, I want you to get this. And, for folks here in Martinsville, I apologize. Just give me a second while I talk to the folk who are associated with me. And, then possibly you'll learn a little bit about why we do what we do as well. Even though this is not about politics for us, we're in front of y'all. Y'all are seeing us. You wouldn't be seeing any of this if it were not for the video that Caleb actually shot at the city council meeting that we'll be looking at here in a bit. Again, y'all wouldn't even be seeing this. Well, how is it that he had the wherewithal to have the recording and get all this kind of stuff? Because we're constantly recording religious people. Why? Because this is what this is about. We're trying to get you to see the religious people that you adhere to. And we're going to talk about Mayor Jones tonight, bringing all these religious people in front of you and trying to use them to accomplish an end that he will never accomplish. Religious folk will never, ever help you as far as changing our surroundings. Now, when I say religious folk, I'm talking about denominational folk. You know that we'll help you because you're seeing this, because I'm talking to you about it, the interview, Caleb's video, and the other things that we are doing that make people watch us. Not about politics. It's about getting you interested enough to just sit through a session like this. Now, this is Acts chapter 24, verse 14. And Paul is, in fact, discussing on trial about himself. And he says to the people that are listening, he references, I'm going to go ahead and turn to it because I have it kind of chopped up. He references his behavior. Now, this is for people in Martinsville. This is for John Wilkes, if that's his name, or is it Wilkins, sarcastic man. He made a post on Facebook saying something about, why is Johnny involved in politics or whatever? I don't read his stuff and I don't care what he said. I'm just letting you hear. He acted like, or his statement was, that there was something wrong with a preacher, a man of God, being involved in these kind of matters. Listen, if you read the New Testament, you would know that they were constantly involved with the authorities, always being arrested, always having their rights trampled on, but they still go forward. And it's the only reason that my name would ever come out of his mouth anyway, the guy we're talking about. Listen to this. This is Acts chapter 24, and here's the context. Paul is defending himself, and he says, "But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I God, the God of my fathers, believing in all things which are written in the law and in the prophets, and have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both the just and the unjust. And herein do I exercise myself." Can I say this? What y'all call heresy, people call us heretics. They say what we're teaching is heresy. They call us a cult. Members of the Church of Christ particularly say that we're too controversial, that we're involved in heresy, we're a fringe group. Can I tell you something? The way that you call heresy, this is the way I worship God. And not only that, I do exercise myself. I have been exercising myself in this mentality and behavior for the last 40 years, and that's the only reason you know I exist. is because I have sense enough to realize that the very thing that everybody despises and wants to get rid of is the very thing that will continue to make you watch and be curious, because he may be talking about us. This dude's out of his mind. He exercises himself all the time, chewing on the Church of Christ. That's not true. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing is to get you to think about something besides chewing food and filling your big bellies up. That's what this is about. It's getting you to do the work of these individuals that you read about right here. Herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense toward God and men. Now, on with the show. It was never about politics. Now, can I say to you right now, if you were to go back on our channel to January, you would see us having brought this in front of you already. Now, it played on Star News. Many of you probably did see it. The questions were whirling around about Miss Benavides, and I did a show, a broadcast or two. Caleb did some broadcasts. A lot of stuff went on back there, and we'll talk about why it all went on. But during all of that in January, like the 22nd, I think is when this one was, I put up this footage or this depiction of someone from, is this Star Wars? Yep. Someone from Star Wars, and most of y'all recognize him, Yoda, I guess is his name. And then you have Jedis in this, and it's like, make us think about that. No, look, she said it, I didn't. The city manager of Martinsville called herself a mental Jedi trickster. Are you following me now? She just got a big, huge raise. She got a raise she got voted for her raise just, last month? Maybe 2 months ago, right in the middle of all this stuff. Everybody on the city council voted for her to get her raise and her big bonus except Aaron. Now, I want you to think about that too. Is there not anybody on the city council that is like paying attention, or what is going on? I mean, really, because we have some oppositional voices out there, do we not? But everybody voted for her to have her evaluation as it went through and to give her her 30% maybe raise. She's in $200 and something thousand now. And I'm not saying anything about the money the woman makes. I'm just telling you what we were telling you back here was going on. And now she has this big raise and she got her bonus and she drives a city car home if she wants to. And that's all y'all's business. But I'm just saying, if you're complaining about now, it was shown to you. Oh, some people say, well, Johnny, I don't remember seeing that. Well, did you? I doubt you're going to be able to see this unless you see it on my computer, because I've looked for it, and I have quite a lot of it. I've looked for it. I can't find it anymore. And if you can find this, I'd be happy for you to send me a link. This is Ms. Benavides in 2023, and she's doing an informational video where she really talks a lot about herself and the different things that she's been up to in the different locales where she has spent 2 years. That's it, 2 years. So when you really get down to it and you think about who hired Ms. Benavides, they were saying things like, well, she's been in 4 or 5 different cities. And, she's a great candidate for us. They did a national search. You pay for those national search. So the guys that are now complaining about her, don't let them get off with just complaining about her. I believe Julian's the only person that's not involved in this. Elsie was in it, Kathy was in it, Aaron was in it. Aaron criticizes everything everybody does, but Aaron was all up in this. They all listened to whoever it was that told them about this great candidate who is presently in Duncanville, Bennett Glen Heights, Bennett Petersburg. Is it Petersburg? I get St. Petersburg. Anyway, let's just say suburb of Richmond. All these places that she's been, and now she's available. And what did they do? They hired her. And now everybody's pointing fingers at each other. But listen to the Jedi part. You could have known this in 2023 if you had looked at Duncanville and put her name in and just listened to a little bit of business. Take a listen.
And I sometimes call it also the Jedi mind trick. You get them to some place and they don't even know they're there. My mayor in Duncanville is a great example. Over and over again, one of the other councilmen will talk about the lack of diversity, this and that. And one day he went to a session.
Wait a minute. I can't imagine that another councilman is talking about diversity and it's not her that's talking about diversity, because that's what this is all about. But nevertheless, think about this. If you had seen this video, she's talking about her mayor. How is it that she is getting away with this informational video, and in it, present time, she is talking about her mayor, getting over on her mayor? Elsie, how you feeling about right now? Mayor L.C. Jones is our mayor. He hired her. Aaron hired her. Kathy hired her. I don't know who the other city councilmen were that was in there. I don't know if Danny Turner was still in there 2 years ago, but I do know this. She's telling you that she does mind tricks, and she leads you to a place that you don't even know that you're getting there. Now, you've already seen this because I've already played this. Now, let's stop just a minute and let's listen to the interview. Okay? This is Douglas Finch, and Patrick Harvey talking to Martinsville about what you got and what to do.
We know of an individual who may fit the qualifications of being an event planner.
Okay, now I have to build this up. The reason I went to Duncanville, like the really reason I went to Duncanville, is because Ms. Benavides told me that Patrick Harvey he had a grudge against her, had to do with her wife and a job. Now, Aretha, if I misunderstood you, then I'm apologizing right now. I don't think that I did misunderstand you. Sometimes you are really quick on your feet, and things that you say, I don't really think you're thinking that someone's going to check it out. My understanding is that she said that she had promised Patrick's wife a job. It could be that I did misunderstand her and that she had promised Patrick's friend a job. Patrick's wife is retired. She's been in a public school system for 40 years, and she's met a lot of individuals, and he's describing how it was that one of those individuals was applying for a job in Duncanville and didn't get the job. Okay, does that kind of bring you up as to why he's talking about that and why I'm asking about that? I felt like that I could not trust her word about this man. Just like that, you're fired from Duncanville. She's in her office telling me this on the 28th, I believe. It was the same day that Aaron did his press conference after being ejected. I'm in her office, and we're talking, and she's telling me about Patrick. She's telling me about losing her job over there in Duncanville, and this came out about his wife. My understanding was that his wife was promised a job and that she couldn't do it. She couldn't give it to her. Turns out that he is telling me the real story, which I could have been confused. Either way, he doesn't have a grudge. She was just basically saying he had a grudge, had something against her, and there's just a whole lot of stuff going on. But I'm just saying, I cannot just take people's word about other people. And you might say, well, you'll never meet this guy. You don't know that. Myself and his wife have something very, very intimate in common. And it is very likely that I could have seen her in March and not even known it. But I would now, and she would know me. See how this stuff goes? Anyway, as we go along, he is explaining to me what really happened, and Ms. Benavides, he does not have a grudge. Continue to listen.
May fit the qualifications of being an event planner and may be very successful with the position. So Miss Benavides was very receptive to what we said and invited the lady to fill out an application and go through the interview process, which she did. And she went through various levels of the interview process and was considered, I think, perhaps one of the finalists, but didn't get the job. And that was okay. This is what happens. So it wasn't my wife. My wife is retired and hasn't gone back to work since she retired.
So, to what I was told. So, she just threw me off there. Like there's nothing to do with your wife in it at all. And is that her MO? Like just throw something out there and, I walked away and I was thinking, how would I verify this? Or, I had no idea what was going on down here. Mr. Harvey, I am now so suspicious that I don't even know what to think.
Well, I understand. I give Aretha credit for this. She's very good on her feet. She presents herself very well in a number of situations. And that's one of the things that attracted me to her as she was going through the interview process for the city of Duncanville. City manager. She always had a ready answer, a logical answer, an answer that seemingly made sense. So I acknowledge that she has that ability and that gift.
What about her just casual warmth as a genuine person? Can she just turn that on?
Very much so.
Very much so.
Very much so. I can tell you that as we were going through the interview process in the city of Duncanville, she did one of the most fantastic interviews that I've seen a person do. And I myself have the ability to, conduct myself and present myself in certain situations. But I've never seen anyone like her. She completely and totally takes the cake.
Can she captivate?
She can do it.
Okay. My apology, Mayor Jones. And Aaron, Kathy, you're a woman. So she just had all y'all. Or maybe not. At the end of the day, what you are doing is listening to an interview about people who went through a hard time with Miss Aretha. But you have to remember this too. This was COVID big time, 21 to 23. She was their city manager. Who could get anything done in 21 to 23? So it's not like I'm saying that I'm done with her. I just went down there to check her story and to see how she is. Now, he never said in any of the interview that she lied. What he did say is they could not get her to give them a fiscal year audit. For 2 years, they never knew where they were. She was consistently saying that something was wrong with their books. She couldn't make head or tails out of the finance. He is a former finance director. He might have been finance director in some of the time frame where she was looking at books that maybe he had been involved with. She told that they had 2 sets of books and that she couldn't make any, she just couldn't give them fiscal year audit. End of fiscal year audit. Well, I don't know if that's been the problem here. I have certainly heard people, when I told them what he said, they said, does that sound familiar? I don't know. But I do know this. I know that the finance director here had a terrible time. And I've heard Aaron talk about it. And I've heard Aaron talk about Kathy during it and LC during it. And that this woman, Aaron didn't believe did anything wrong, and her name is Mandy, and she's now over in Rockingham County, and she's finance director over there. So, sometimes you basically have things going on behind the scenes, and, you just have to find the Star News article yourself in order to follow up on some of that, and I would encourage you to do that, because when you get right down to it, I'll go ahead and let some of this place. We'll look at some of the things on Star News just to give you an idea of just all the things that you can get in there and look at if you want to go backwards and say, and one of the reasons that I'm being like I am right now about this, there's a lot of people say, Johnny really flip-flops. I don't care anything about y'all's politics. I am concerned about Patrick. Now he's a friend of mine. His wife's a friend of mine. Douglas Finch. I have great hopes for my friendship with Douglas Finch because he is a professor. He is an adjunct professor for very poor rural people in New Hampshire, northern New Hampshire, which he told me was somewhat like West Virginia. And that he does that work because he is concerned about the people in that rural area who cannot be educated otherwise. Southern New Hampshire University. And he teaches business and economics, and so Douglas Finch is a smart guy. And he is the man, as we'll see, for the job to fix the mess. Now, as I said, I'm not flip-flopping. I'm concerned about all of y'all. Whatever we do, and we're going to be doing it together. I won't have anything to do with it other than being up in here like this. Whatever we do together, we're going to have to go through it together. And so it really makes a difference as to how you take this interview and what you decide. You're just going to kick it to the curb. You're going to start all over. You didn't do well getting your last city manager. I know that you had the one before that, something like 40 years. So, I know that hardly anybody has any experience in hiring a city manager, but this is your time. Now you do. Do you just pay her contract off? Some said that they don't have to. I don't believe half of what I hear from the guys that are doing the talking. Let's listen. Not these guys. I'm talking about our city people.
She played the race card, did she not?
She tried to.
That was newspaper reporting, so
Oh yeah, she tried to, but just like I said, the group that was in the forefront of severing her relationship, 2 black council members, 1 Latino, 1 white.
And that's why she told me that story. I have to tell you.
The story she told me about his wife came out in the context of me telling her that I had read in the newspaper that she played the race card. And she definitely was having race issues here in Martinsville, or making comments associated in such a way that was creating more and more racial tension. And so if that was her MO, he said she tried to, but it didn't work. And you heard why it didn't work, because of the diversity that was on the city council. That's why all of this is coming out the way it's coming out.
I would be in there with her, some of her employees, which would be communication director, and they're young, up and coming, and she's mentoring them.
Yes.
And I'm watching them lose their jobs. And it's just a very sad situation, but the city is just imploding. So, any advice?
Well, when the city of Duncanville decided to sever its relationship with her, it was me, another black council member,
Councilman Kuntz? Yes.
Contreras, a Latino council member, and Don McBurnett, who was white.
Sure. Doug Finch?
Okay, I introduced Doug right here because he said, when we decided to sever our relationship with her, enter severing the relationship and finding a new city manager. And let's let him describe how his city council was behaving when he decided to take the job. Why do you need to know this? Who's going to come here after you have the Aretha Benavides blow up that we've had, I would say that ours makes this look like a storm in a teapot compared to what is going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like their water boiled over, but ours is like, it's just a tsunami here. Who's going to come in? Well, you're not going to get anybody like him until you get the city council behaving like them. And you just heard Patrick describe how they were looking at things. We decided to sever our relationship and listen to how he describes the people that he went to work for.
City manager for the city of Duncanville.
My question is, how do you fix a city with a history like Duncanville? How did you even decide to take the job, and then what was like a key thing to fixing?
Sure. So I think for me, one of the big reasons why I even accepted the job was because the city council of the city of Duncanville was so excited and energized about moving the city forward.
This is a moment. All the baggage, all the being upset, all the trying to get even and the wrangling that goes on around here.
And so I think you need individuals from each segment of the community to join together and say, we can do better than this.
And they had coalesced around.
Are you hearing this? This is so simple. And here's what we're doing too. We're hearing from people who have already worked with her. I am saying it was during COVID. Everybody was having trouble everywhere, but they decided to coalesce. They had decided that we can do better than this. And you know what that means? It means the city council had to say, we can do better than this too. It's not like we're just going to kick her out and we do better. They're saying we can do better. And this situation has already gotten out of hand. She had a lawyer. She was talking, lawyer up and accusing them of racial tension and cruelty, and that they had different books and all that kind of stuff. Now, are we at that point? Aaron's wanting to sue her. And, in my opinion, and I've been kicked out of a bunch of places, Aaron was a big sissy, if you ask me. He didn't have to leave just because the sheriff deputy took the initiative and started trying to put him out. He could have asked some questions. He could have made a fuss. He didn't have to just give in to that. And now he looks so bad and whatever, and he's going to take it out on the city. What does that mean? Somebody's going to have to pay for her being sued. Doesn't she have insurance through the city? I don't know all these questions, all these answers, but I do know this. Come on, guys. The best you can do is not do better and not try to, let's all coalesce around what we got here. You got some good players in place. From what I hear, and I heard it from her own mouth, there's a spy in her office. And so you guys, if you got a spy in her office, then you can watch what's going on. I know who it is. I'm not just, this is not breaking news. Charles can break it if he wants to. Y'all know what's going on. So that means you, in a way, have a leg up. And why does Aaron want to sue her? Did it really hurt him? He just, like I said, he was made to look silly by letting a deputy who had absolutely no right to eject somebody who hadn't done anything. When L.C. Jones was asked about it, he's like, we didn't know what he's going to do next. You think a sitting city councilman is fixing to hurt a bunch of people up in there? The rest of us weren't scared. We were like, what kind of theater play are we watching here? The whole thing. And Caleb caught it on video, so you're getting to listen to it. And it's not about the politics for us. It's about all of y'all, us thinking about all of y'all, and us too. Y'all, this is what the Bible actually talks about when it says love your neighbor. A bunch of people up in there, all they care about is money. love your neighbor, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I have an audio up in here of Aaron making some huge accusations about Kathy on tape with Caleb. I'll probably save that for multiple $100,000 accusations. I'll save that for another go around. Let Caleb play it if he likes. So, is it about money? They coalesced.
What they felt like at the time were 4 strategic initiatives that they really wanted to focus on: fiscal transparency and accountability, economic development, our infrastructure, our public works, and then moving the city forward, long-term planning.
Did you hear anything about diversity planning? No. Why? This town is huge majority Latino. And I hate to tell y'all, but nobody's paying attention to black folk in Duncanville. So I don't know why she played the race card, because if she said here that the city council needs to reflect the demographic, the city council in Duncanville does not reflect the demographic, because the demographic there is huge Latino. He didn't say anything about that. He didn't say that they were coalescing around any of that kind of stuff. These are things that everybody has to deal with regardless of what race you are. Listen one more time.
And they had coalesced around what they felt like at the time were 4 strategic initiatives that they really wanted to focus on: fiscal transparency and accountability, economic development.
Physical transparency, that would be, we would like to have an end-of-year physical audit. You hear how that's coming out?
Our infrastructure, our public works, and then moving the city forward, long-term planning. And what really impressed me about that was that the city council was driving that decisions, right? They said, this is what we need to move the city forward. And we're looking for somebody that aligns with those attributes. And I felt like that was a perfect match for myself. And so that was the reason why I accepted the position. And then those are really the things that we buckled down to work on collectively as a team.
So what would you advise our city council and mayor to do going forward, since you have already, you came in behind Ms. Benavides? They are involved with her, and it could be even messier. Do you have any advice for them, like, to fix the situation?
Well, I think it's really important for the city manager and the council to be on the same page in terms of where the community is going, and for the community to share those comments with their elected representatives. You know, strategic planning is a great way to do that, and that's a basic tool that I always recommend for any municipality to actually look at that. We just recently adopted a 15-year capital improvement plan, and people will say to me, 15 years is too long. I agree. It is difficult to plan out for 15 years. But if you don't have at least a direction on where it is that you want to go, how do you know how to get there? What are the things, right? So you take that 15-year plan and then you break it up into smaller segments. What are the short-term items? What are the medium terms? What are the longer-term items? What are the things that we would like to do, but we can't do them right now for financial reasons or those types of reasons, and we decide we're going to put those off for a little bit. That's what I mean by that planning, that strategic planning, getting everybody on the same page together and then advancing the ball forward. What are the primary objectives of that council? What is it that the constituents are telling the council members? And then what are the action items that we can move forward and collectively do together? That's some of what we did here in Duncanville. I certainly don't want to speak about Martinsville. I don't follow what's going on in Martinsville, and we're very focused on building the city of champions here in Duncanville. And so those are some of the tools that we used, and really kind of getting around the room together. What are the objectives? What are the things that everybody would like to do, and then where do we go from here?
Would you have any advice for him suing? You saw the video. He's suing the city manager, and then how are we going to put that back together?
How about that? I don't want to listen to this. None of this makes any difference to us. It's not about us, it's about them. These guys put that city back together. So for instance, Aaron, I'm going to get on, I am going to go out of this program now, and we're going to go to Star News. And this is Star News Facebook. And I have put in a search. You can do this too. The search is just Rawls. And you'll get that first one's not going to count, but look at all this. Charles has this documented, and it's just video after video after video after video, information after information, all the stuff that you need to look at to catch up. And, there's a lot of stuff on here where one of the persons that's doing a lot of the talking is going to be Aaron about everybody's problems. And, you might say, you got it in for Aaron. Listen, I told you, I don't particularly care about these guys' political future. Y'all have made a mess, and we're all living through it. I don't even like to go to city council. The only reason I'm going to city council is because all the stuff that y'all are doing up in there is affecting us racially. Where does it affect us? Someone called Caleb a racist. Do you know how long it's been since we've been called racist in this area? I mean, forever. You folks saw the KKK be debated on what does the Bible say. The local KKK, the local head of the KKK actually admitted that he was wrong about racial intermarriage as a result of studying with me. The past Grand Wizard that was on A&E has studied with me. Who else is trying to help people in that way? And I'm just saying, that's what we're concerned about. And so what are we going to do? For some reason, my internet's freezing up, but I can tell you it would be, you see a lot of space. Well, you can't see it because behind me, there's a lot of stuff on there about these guys. Now, let me just give you an instance where, you just really need to hear this. This is Caleb, and he's talking to LC, and he's talking to Aaron. And what got us into this in the first place is this business right here, the mental tricking Jedi. Bringing in religion into the city politics is what got us in that. We are fighting against all the division in our area because of denominationalism. This is basically a shot of us outside at one of our tents. Why are we outside when we have a very nice tent sitting there and we're not in it? Because of this guy right here. They made some changes in the rulings in the county where we can no longer put up a tent for 2 weeks. Why? Because we're making headway and they don't want to hear from us. A lot of these folk, one of them is actually a member of the Eden Baptist Church, the biggest one. Can't think of the name of it. This is Tim Hall. Tim Hall had to go through the indignity of being in his own office and have Caleb standing there with a check, our lawyer on the phone, telling him what he was going to have to do in order to stop breaking the law. And they were basically saying that we had to take our tent down and put it back up in 24 hours. We had to let it rest and put it back up in 24 hours, that we could not step for 2 weeks because of some new rule that they've come up with. Ed Clark and Tim Hall. Tim Hall, one or the other of these guys left town in order not to be served. Was it some political thing about Tim Hall? We didn't know Tim Hall exists and we didn't care. It's not about politics. It's about us getting in front of you so that you can hear the message. Who was hearing the message? Well, one of the individuals who called me was an 88-year-old realtor in the county, and he was telling me how much he loved seeing Ed Clark put in his place by what we were doing. What's Ed Clark doing? If you're a person who is a building inspector, if you don't like somebody, you can make them jump through a lot of hurdles in order to get their building inspected. And that's what was going on. And these people are watching. Yes, this is Johnny.
Hey, this is Charles.
Yes, sir.
I thought you asked me to call in tonight.
I was talking about the beginning, but that's fine.
Okay. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm here. The audio I'm about to play of Aaron calling LC a dirtbag is very interesting.
All right, well, I can't wait. If you need me, call me.
All right. See you, Charles. Okay, here we go. It wasn't about politics. It was about the optics. They made us, threatened us that we had to take our tent down. Otherwise, we would be arrested. Caleb was preaching outside. They really told us to stop the whole event. And the last thing he said before he started his lesson that night, he said, Dad, if the police come in, you have to let them arrest me or I'll never have been arrested. And one of these days I'm going to be arrested, so I need to go ahead and get that experience. So there we are. No, we weren't just having a nice night out under the stars watching the video. That is a result of the county administrator. This is what got it started, is LC decided to involve the religious folk into the politics and see if they couldn't bring each other together. Do you really think these guys can bring anybody together? That's the biggest joke that I have ever heard anybody try to make, is that the religious people in our area are going to be able to bring us together. Now, you have not seen this guy since then. You've seen Charles Whitfield. Now, Aaron said that LC called Charles Whitfield a crook. And it's like, then he starts using Whitfield? Let's listen to it. Now, y'all, when you are hearing audio and it's audio where everybody's in there, you just have to listen, because this was difficult for Caleb to get, and it's certainly going to be difficult for you to get your ears on it. Take a listen.
City building, you know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
Yeah, and we needed a location to have people.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, I still would like to have you come on. You say you don't want to.
I'll think about it, man. But
Okay.
but you understand my side of it, though. What I'm saying, you could have picked the phone up. You still could have did what you did, but you could have had a better understanding of why I did what I did.
And I'll keep that in mind next time.
No, that's not what would have happened. Y'all saw me pull out my recorder and start recording him on the spot. Didn't give him a chance to get all his stuff made up and do the political thing. It was me and him. He was in Ms. Benavides' office right after Aaron had the big press conference, and I was next to talk to her. And I'm out there by myself with him, and out comes the camera. And he's like, you just did a slide on me. What are you talking about? You turned the camera on without asking me. And I don't have to ask you in a public office to video you or to record you. The community wants to hear what y'all are going to do. So I videoed him, recorded him for 20 minutes in her office while I don't know who she was talking to. She may have been in there talking to Caleb. I think maybe she was talking to Caleb. So he is upset because Caleb did a show where he didn't give him a chance to talk first.
But still, I'd like to, because like I said, it is a matter of you wanted your thoughts on the front side. I didn't do it that way. I'd like to let you say your piece on the back side. I mean, I'd let you talk, have your time. I want to do that. So, but,
We'll set something up.
Okay. But do you see my,
I do.
Because, why'd they have to do that? Why'd they have to do it at the municipal building? That's not where the meeting is. You see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
They got the logo there.
I'm hearing you out.
Yeah, you don't have a problem with that.
But what you're doing, you're speaking on it from the terms of a pastor and religion and everything. I'm speaking on terms from a community perspective, and us however we can come together.
Okay.
Nobody listening to you about coming together, LC. I mean, that's just the way it is. The other day, while Ms. Benavides was on her leave, I went into the city building and I basically said, I'll just go in and see if I can visit with the mayor. There he sat with the former informational officer, I do believe, and he was wringing his hands. Why? He doesn't know what to do, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. They have Ms. Benavides. They have this big thing that's going on. They're fighting amongst themselves anyway. Aaron is talking all kinds of trash in this video. You're going to hear him, this audio, you're going to hear him talking all kinds of trash about LC. And it's like we've got ourselves to a point where LC just said, I don't know what to do. Ms. Benavides is gone. No checks are being written. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. And you don't know what's going to happen next. But I can tell you what's not going to happen. These clowns that y'all call your pastors, your priests, your bishops and your doctors, they have been here forever and they are not helping anything. And nobody believes in them anyway. And so why is he giving Caleb a hard time? Now, I have a text to LC. Hey, Charles. Charles. I have a text back and forth between myself and Mayor Jones where I offered to let him be on my platform. He would be on YouTube, Facebook, and Star News all at the same time. And he knows that all we're about is the truth. I could care less about ratings. I don't have any of that going on. If I wanted to do ratings, I would just cut his video up that I did in her office and just make him look terrible. That's not what this is about. He said, I don't want to do anything right now that would cause more division. Yes, Charles.
Yes.
Did you call?
I did not. I was just watching the show intently like everyone else.
Okay. All right, bye.
All right.
So I have that offer on the front end to Mayor Jones. And he's aggravated with Caleb because Caleb did a show and talked about Mayor Jones trying to bring the religious people in to fix things. Not going to happen.
Yeah, you want to sit down with me?
Yeah, man.
And I appreciate y'all letting me have my time.
Yeah.
No, because I didn't send it in. I appreciate the exception. Thank you.
Call me.
Yeah,
All you gotta do is call me. Because I really appreciate all they did to make that happen. Because they did call a lot of different pastors, and I'm glad that the Mr. Malvesta he came and he was peaceful. Because I don't think he was happy with how it went and everything. He would have liked to say something different, but he was peaceful. That was the movement.
Yeah, I know Malvesta, right?
Okay.
I've had years of interaction with Malvesta. Malvesta always wanted to get his foot in the door because he just says anybody who's not Nation of Islam, they're blinded by white man religion.
And I don't think I asked about tonight's conversation. If you're going to play it back and talk about it online, play it in its entirety. So
Okay.
that people understood. Don't chop it up and try to make me sound one way or another.
Right.
Play it in its entirety.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll come on your show. We'll talk, but just give me a little time.
Okay, I'll do that.
I am a little mad at you, man. I thought, man, you was all right.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you.
I thought, man, you was all right,
I
man.
think we're still all right.
We okay.
Yeah, it's just disagreement.
Just a miscommunication. That's all it was.
Okay. But I'll shake your hand one more
We
time.
good, bro.
Yeah.
We good.
Okay. Well, can I talk with you, Mr. Graff? I might have like one more. Did Joey just go? No, I'm saying, did Joey go?
Joey had to go.
So,
I can save you a lot of time, man.
okay.
I'm guessing you're a person of principle and you really believe the things you're saying.
Yeah.
My read on you?
Yeah.
You were arguing matters of substance with someone who's not doing the same.
Yeah.
He, long story short, did a lot of racial dividing, called a group of people into a place which was black.
Oh, yeah.
Said, we have the numbers now. Divided a shit ton of people, threw out all kinds of lies about people, got in over his head, ran to the pastors, ran to people of better standing than him to try and pull things back together.
Not really.
Possibly. Well,
Not really.
in his mind.
Yeah.
Well, you know the funniest thing, Julie was there. He called Charles Whitfield a crook in a citizens meeting.
He called Charles Whitfield a crook. That's what Aaron said. Now, you know, if somebody wants to put out a lawsuit, there's audio from Caleb where this one city councilman is openly saying that what would that be? In the newspaper or in person, I don't worry about one way or the other. I'm not going to be sued for either one of them because I'm basically saying the truth all the time. Slander and libel. Is Charles Whitfield a crook? Aaron Rawls said that LC said that he was a crook, and he said it to all of them. You want to hear that one more time?
Julie was there. He called Charles Whitfield a crook in a citizens meeting. I mean, he doesn't even like the trust these people. He's a study of Jackie Lawson. We're talking about despicable gross. Elsie's in the same thing. He's just trying to get He's just trying to accuse somebody here. He doesn't believe any of the shit he's saying. He's not going to have an earnest discussion with you.
Yeah, so he said he wasn't going to run again.
So,
is that true?
Curtis and all I could do is guess.
Yeah.
My goal before I'm done here is we had this same discussion in closed session. We have way too many people here that are criminals. Are they all dirtbags? LC wears badge. One of the biggest dirtbags I know.
LC is one of the biggest dirtbags I know. And now he's going to talk about deputies talking about LC.
You got to start putting this out there because this community will never move forward when we have horrible people. Kathy Lawson tried to steal $1 million from citizens and give it to a.
Kathy Lawson tried to steal $1 million. There's your lawsuit, Kathy. Aaron Rawls said on audio, knowing he was being taped, that Kathy Lawson tried to steal $1 million. Are we ever going to get this back together with this kind of stuff going on? I don't know who's doing what, but you're getting to hear what is going on amongst these guys who claim to be leading you. And the answer, LC's answer is, bring in the pastors. And he told Caleb, he said, you're talking from a pastor point of view. I'm talking about a community, trying to get community back together. Listen, neither one of us are pastors. Whenever y'all get that through your head, we'll have at least made a little bit of progress. We're not pastors. We're not anybody's doctor. We're not anybody's bishop. We're not anybody's little preacher, or we're not one of your gophers. We are out here telling you the truth and exposing this stuff, and even going to other municipalities who have already been involved with Ms. Benavides in a different setting that we're not having to experience, which is COVID, and they have coalesced. Do you think they're going to coalesce after all that? I mean, Kathy's a thief and LC's a liar and a dirtbag? And what's Charles Whitfield? I mean, y'all, this is something.
Like, dude, I have the contract. It's got your signature on it. I went on TV with all the documents of Charles Ward. Yeah. Like, no one listens, no one cares. All I can do is just keep on trying to put it out there. Yeah. But dude, this community, if you draw a circle around Martinsville for like 100 miles and look at every other community,
Martha Medley.
why is ours the only one that can't get it together? I mean, at a certain point, you got to say the problem is us. And it is us. The people that we let be leaders. And I'm sorry to rant you, man, but I've been here as like the Lone Ranger for.
The Lone Ranger. I'm going to give me an AI-generated picture of Aaron with a Lone Ranger mask, and maybe he's rearing up on, what's the horse's name? High Old Silver and Kemosabe. And you know, this just continues. And I'm actually playing a little sarcasm, so, you know, you can have a little bit of a chuckle while we watch Rome burn, because that's what's happening. And Aaron Rawls is not the Lone Ranger. And if you want to draw a circle 90 miles around and ask who got the media to come in here, it's Aaron. Put out a press release, couldn't make up his mind whether he had the ability to sue with the video that Caleb had, but now he's found himself an independent law firm, and sounds like they're not going to sue the city, they're going to sue the deputy and Ms. Benavides. You know, back to my agenda. Our agenda is, don't let these guys, black, white, Latino, any of them, that have their religious cloaks on and pretending to use the Bible with you, because they're all in the same business, making money and merchandise out of you. If the government doesn't get your money, they're going to get it. They're going to get 10%. And I don't know that you're getting taxed 10%, but both of these guys believe in taxing you 10%, but they call it a word that's biblical, tithe. But neither one of them are Levites. And the tithe in the Old Testament, and we've been over this 1,000 times, goes to the Levite. And you can find that in Hebrews 7, verse 5. Let's keep going down. So that's what we were doing. When we were doing this, all of this was not about politics. It's always been about religion. I debated this guy on live television. He broke his own contract that he made me sign, that we would have equal time to talk. He talked for a solid hour, and then he got up and left, and his wife said they would sue me if I played the video. I played the video, and everybody got to see it. This was city planning back in the day. It just continues on and on and on. And folks, these folk are not helping you. Who is trying to help you? Y'all call us heretics. Y'all call us a cult. That's fine. The way that y'all call a bad name, we're worshiping the God of our fathers, believing in all things which are written in the law and the prophets, and have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. And herein do I exercise myself. We're keeping it up. to have a good conscience void of offense toward God and towards men. Now, y'all, this is us sweating it out, trying to do our best to help you to recognize who the people are that are giving you a hard time. And Paul basically is on trial here, and he doesn't let up about the resurrection. He said, I'm standing among them, touching the resurrection of the dead, and I'm called into question by you this day. And watch this. He could have gotten out of all of this by dropping that heresy just for a minute while he was on trial. But look at this. When Felix heard these things, having made perfect knowledge of that way, he deferred them and said, when Lysias, the chief captain, shall come down, I'll know the uttermost of your matter. And he commanded the centurion to keep Paul and to let him have liberty, that he should forbid none of his acquaintances to minister or to come to him. And look what he does next. He ends up wanting to have a discussion with Paul himself. Now, what I'm saying is rather than Paul taking up for himself, he just continued to exercise the doctrine, and Felix wanted to hear it. Festus, the next governor, wanted to hear it. And Paul said, I could have gotten out of all of this if I just hadn't talked about the resurrection. We could get out of all this too if we'd just leave y'all alone and let you be happy in your denomination. But you know what? There is no such thing as a denomination in the Bible. That's all made up for Charles Whitfield and Alan Preston and J.C. Richardson, so that they can all divide y'all up and they can spread the money around rather than it all be together in one place. Alan Preston, don't forget him. Okay, it's been my pleasure to participate. It has not been my pleasure to go through all this with you all. And the last time I was at City Council to pray, they had forgotten to have someone pray, so Mayor Jones asked me to say the prayer. And I'm still saying the same prayer. There's a lot of things that God can do, and one of them is He can help you listen to a show that's not asking for any money and that is getting people's attention. You know the intimate thing that Mr. Harvey and I have in common, his wife? While I was there, I asked him, did you know Geno Jennings? He said, yes, I do. He said, I watch him from time to time. I've heard him from time to time, and he said, that's some strong medicine. He said, I usually am walking through. My wife watches, and she's watching the whole thing. Can I tell you what he did? He went home and told his wife about myself and Geno Jennings and our discussion, our agreement to have a discussion. She would have gotten on my YouTube channel by now and seen the back and forth between myself and a very, very prominent preacher who is helping a lot of people in the Eastern Seaboard part of America, a lot of black people particularly, and Latino. There were a lot of Latino people at his event in Dallas. What I'm saying is I intend to meet Mr. Harvey's wife the next time I'm in Duncanville. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank Charles, Star News crew, for helping us to get the broadcast out to some of you that would not watch What Does the Bible Say on YouTube. You can anytime you like on Sundays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. But we really do appreciate Star News for putting us on his Facebook too. And everybody have a good night. And let's try to coalesce and get over this thing. God bless you. Good night.